I'm calling it now. Most of the comments on this video are going to be from people who have no clue what it's actually about. Such is life. Fortnite is the biggest game in the world right now. Every week we hear about a Drake fighting ninjas to a world record breaking number of onlookers on Twitch. The ensuing domination of the Twitch directory as aspiring Twitch streamers hope to ride the wave, the Thanos invasions. And most recently, there was an announcement that Epic Games is committing $100 million in prize money for Fortnite. That is huge. For perspective, that's more money than Blizzard, Valve, and Riot put into eSports last year combined. For one game. Let me stress, that is a big deal for the video game industry. For further reference, this one company for this one game is committing an amount of money that is approaching national averages for traditional sports. The NHL, for instance, has an average team valuation of about $200 million. That's a 101-year-old organization. Esports is a baby in comparison, and we're seeing pro sports levels of money being thrown at it in its early stages. The major difference being Fortnite is a lot less imposing for your average person. You don't need to be a superhuman to be competent in this game on a competitive level, and compared to other games, it's super accessible. It's playable on everything from super spec'd out gaming PCs all the way down to iOS and eventually Android devices. Meanwhile, Nintendo fans, as of right now, don't have access to this phenomenon yet. But in the meantime, Nintendo has a weapon that could take advantage of a lot of the same strategies being utilized by Fortnite. And no, I don't mean introduce a 100-man Battle Royale mode like every other game is gonna do at E3 this year. Ever since the official reveal for Nintendo Switch, it's been pretty clear that Nintendo sees a future wherein they're a big part of the esports scene by way of the Nintendo Switch and IP like Splatoon, and more importantly, Smash Bros. We've seen and continue to see them making good on that promise by sponsoring big tournaments like EVO, CEO, Genesis, alongside other Smash Bros tournaments. And they've even put on their own tournaments, with the latest of which coming next month in the form of the Splatoon World Championship and Smash Bros for Nintendo Switch Invitational at E3. This is a great start, but I really think they can double down on this and expand its impact. I think the most appealing part of esports on a corporate level is the aspirational aspect. The feeling that many viewers get when they watch and they facepalm and say, "Psh, I could do that. All he does is roll. That was a terrible read," etc., etc. This feeling is hard to convey to new people if the opportunity to view an event like this only happens every once in a while, or being found in places that are only known to existing diehard fans, and ultimately only being open to the same few people. I mean, how many Smash Bros tournaments have you seen people like Hungrybox or Zero appear in? No hate for those people, but a healthy esports team should have a lot more variety than that. Of course, there's local tournaments for Smash Bros all over the world, and you can fight to achieve access to those bigger tournaments, but most players won't be aware of this unless they're made aware, and not just in a tweet. Do social media and video campaigns on platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Secure deals with YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter to stream these events on prominent real estate of their sites. As of right now, the announcements tend to be preaching to the choir, essentially marketing a product to people that already purchased it. That's counterproductive, if you ask me. More general gaming YouTubers like us, or our friends Bob Wolf or Izzy Nobre, don't talk about gaming tournaments really at all. That means if you're not the type to search out this sort of thing, you'll have no idea when, where, or how to participate in a Nintendo esports tournament. They could also advertise these tournaments in real-time tickers for tournaments in your area, inside the game. Make scissor reels from past tournaments viewable in the game. Make best practices videos for characters in competitive play in partnership with the best known players that main them. Make the game an incubation chamber for aspiring competitive players. Also, on the note of Epic Games' massive investment in the Fortnite competitive scene, Nintendo should be making an effort to do something similar. Of course, Smash likely won't bring in the cash that Fortnite brings in, unless of course it adopts a similar model wherein the full game is priced as normal and they offer free access to a game mode like For Glory or something like it with a limited roster in some way. Maybe allowing the player the option to choose one main with the option to buy more as they go on, or buy the retail release if you decide you want more. Of course, this model would enrage people who I'm sure we'll all see in my comment section complaining about the mere mention of such a thing, but love it or hate it, the model is a huge reason why Fortnite is so successful. successful? It's because it allows the game to be accessible by more people. $60 is a hurdle some people don't want to jump over. Now, I'm not saying Nintendo needs to adopt this. All I'm saying is it's a proven model, and it's been proven by games that are new IP. Unproven games, if you will. Imagine that power with Smash Brothers. Current fans will buy the $60 game regardless. In this scenario, they'll be able to rope in some people that don't think Smash Brothers is a $60 experience, but are willing to buy some of the in-game content a la carte to experience it with their friends that aren't as stupid. Joking, of course. Sort of. That even if Nintendo doesn't offer a $100 million cash pool, they should at least increase the little bit that they do offer. I personally can't name a single pro Smash Bros player that is raking in millions, and Smash is easily Nintendo's biggest esports property. I think if they really want to see esports flourish, they're going to need to put some serious money in these players' pockets. That would drastically increase interest as well. Pokemon Company offers scholarships to their tournament winners. Nintendo could offer that as well, but I also think straight up cash would be a smart move for them to commit to. Scholarships are great and all, but not exactly useful for everyone. Esports strategies and business models aren't the only things that Smash Bros can learn from Fortnite though. Fortnite also does a great job at telling a story and eventizing changes to their game. Imagine if rather than just being given a character reveal trailer, we were treated to ARGs and in-game hints to the inevitable addition of DLC characters. Of course, this isn't even Fortnite exclusive. Overwatch teases their characters in a similar fashion, even closer to what I think Smash Bros should do, in fact. A while back, in a video that I did for our old MCN, I detailed the introduction of Sombra to Overwatch. I don't see any reason as to why Smash Bros couldn't do something similar. Also, why stop there? Why not start doing Thanos-like promotional events wherein we gain access to a timed event with a new character, mode, or stage? These events should definitely stay video game specific. Smash Bros began as a celebration of Nintendo properties. Smash Bros Brawl began to erode that a bit, including more characters from the larger video game world, and Smash 4 was pretty much an all-out celebration of video games. Why not continue that evolution, but with a little bit easier access in terms of licensing? You gotta figure putting hard limits on access has to make negotiations easier for all parties involved. In the event that fans really embrace a particular event, they could always bring that back in the form of traditional DLC, rather than it continuing on as a free promotional event. This could be true for special characters and stages as well. We recently have seen the return of the Ridley rumors. Events like this could make a full-size Ridley playable, maybe through a special big boss battle mode that allows an Evolve style 4v1 game mode wherein the boss player is given some sort of advantage, like Ridley's ability to fly. Of course, this would potentially lessen the possibility of these characters becoming full-fledged characters, but it's better than the alternative, you know, nothing. How else will we get to play as Rayquaza? I'm sorry, but any option given that I get to play as Rayquaza, I'm checking yes for. Don't even care how many potential Ridley dreams I'll crush. In-game explanations for new stages would also be cool in my opinion. Rather than just sending out a press release or a trailer alongside whatever bundled character comes with the stage, what if we were teased with references to stages we'll see in the game before they're released? Mario Kart 8 is a good example of this self-referential practice. You can see names of locations and whatnot across stages throughout the game. Why not bring that to Smash? In Fortnite, Epic Games even does this with stage balancing changes, and those changes are typically for the flow of matches on a particular stage. Think when in the original Splatoon, entire stages would change and we'd see Callie and Marie reference their status as being under construction, but less overt than that. Thanos' arrival was prefaced by a whole saga about an incoming meteor. I'd appreciate similar gamification for similar additions in Smash Bros. Of course, this could go down a slippery slope very quickly, but if you ask me, Smash Bros embracing its status as one of the most powerful marketing tools in gaming and infusing those efforts with more gamification would add a natural layer to the experience. Doubling down on esports would also increase long-term excitement for the game, especially if they maintain a consistent clip of national and international events. The spikes in the player base as well as the search volume around the game will be longer, more pronounced, and more often if people have consistent events to keep track of. But those are my thoughts. What do you think? Do you think Smash Brothers could grow using some of the practices utilized in Fortnite? What other changes do you want to see? Let me know that and more in the comments down below. And while you're there, share this video with a friend who also likes Smash Brothers or Fortnite or anybody on the internet, because that pretty much categorizes anybody on the internet. Also, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more videos like this every Tuesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. New podcasts every Saturday. also 4 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, that's it for me. See you next week.